A lot of people are taught to be kind and put others' wants before their own, but does anyone tell us what can happen if we are too caring and kind? The world is full of kind people who give to everyone and waste their own money and energy in the process. It's possible that being too kind could put our own lives in danger. Be amazed at the surprising bad things that can happen to you because you are too kind. Today, I will tell you 9 of them and give you 6 Stoic ways to stop people from taking advantage of you right away. Let's move on to number 1. You will have unrealistic expectations of people. Stoics say that we should accept things as they are and not depend on other people's actions to make us happy. They say that if you give without expecting too much in return, you'll avoid sadness and develop emotional detachment, which will give you more peace of mind. Being completely selfless in our generosity is hard because when we give our all, we expect others to do the same for us when we need something important. But if you're used to having everything done for you, people will assume that you can handle everything in their lives and yours, especially your own. If you couldn't handle your own, why would you take on other people's? In reality, what will happen is that your hopes for return will not be met. Instead, you'll feel bad, tired, frustrated, and let down. Still, if we look at it objectively, people aren't failing you, they're just doing what you should be doing, which is taking care of their own tasks. Different things like societal norms, personal wants, past experiences, and media influences can lead to unrealistic expectations. A lot of the time, these assumptions involve thinking that other people will act or behave in ways that may not be true. To keep relationships healthy and avoid disappointment or anger, it's important to understand and accept that people aren't perfect and may not always live up to our standards. It's important to be honest with others, hold them to reasonable standards, and show empathy and understanding. Managing standards can help you have more satisfying and peaceful interactions with other people, which can lead to relationships that are more realistic and last longer. Number 2. People will only want something from you. Stoics say that it's important to remember that true value comes from doing the right thing, not just what other people want. Moderation and giving will help you stay in charge of your actions and stay away from bad habits that are bad for your mental health. People are creatures of habit, which is something you've heard your whole life. This is because our bodies are made to get used to a rhythm, a way of life, and a lot of different things going on around us. Being able to change is where the idea of a safety zone comes from. People who gain from your kindness will expect you to give them something all the time if you do it often. This will earn you their respect, comfort zones, and they won't do many of their duties because you'll be there to do them. The problem you'll have is not valuing yourself because if you don't, no one will look you in the eyes and tell you to care more about yourself. At the very least, don't expect people you help to be compassionate in this way because they will stick to their own Robin Hood, which will cost them their lives. A lot of people think that other people want something from them, whether it's something concrete like a gift or a favor, or something more general like help, respect, or approval. But keep in mind that standards aren't the same for everyone or every case. When people connect with each other, some may have hopes, but that doesn't mean that everyone will only want to receive something. A lot of people are also happy when they help others without expecting anything in return. People help each other out and give because they care about the world and want to make it a better place. Good relationships also have mutual respect, understanding, and equality, which means that both people give and receive the same amount. Making rules and talking to each other clearly can also help manage expectations and make sure that talks are respectful and good for everyone. Before we end, it's important to keep in mind that relationships between people are difficult and not just about making deals. Also, it's good to know what other people want from us and help them. Number 3, you run a significant risk of being called weak and treated as such. It's possible that people will call you weak and treat you like one. Stoic philosophy encourages us to develop inner strength and self-discipline. When we set specific boundaries and practice self-discipline, we can show others that we are committed to our own responsibilities and values. This earns respect instead of being seen as fragile and treated that way. When you are always ready to help others, you may believe that you are establishing yourself as an authority in the areas you collaborate in. However, this can create a negative image of you because when boundaries are not set, others may start to see you as weak or easily commanded. This can lead them to shift their responsibilities onto you, knowing that you are unlikely to refuse because you are always ready to help others. However, as soon as you start using the word no, others may begin to consider something they may not have considered before, that is, respect. Setting boundaries and saying no when necessary demonstrates authenticity and commitment to your own priorities, thereby earning the respect of those around you. So, it is important that you show authenticity and say no when needed. Having healthy relationships is important for a happy life because they give us mental support, a sense of connection, and a sense that we belong. But it's important that these relationships are healthy and good for both people. Healthy relationships are ones in which everyone contributes and supports in an equal and respected way. If you are too nice to your partner, they may take advantage of your kindness. Number 4, you run a significant risk of developing a dependency. Stoic theory stresses moderation and self-control. Being generous and self-disciplined can help us stay away from addictive behaviors and have a healthy relationship with our actions and choices when necessary. Once wants become a part of daily life, the needs often keep going up, making it easy to become dependent on others. One day, someone close to you might realize that you are abusing something too much, whether it's food, alcohol, or any other substance. Remember that people who care about you always want the best for you, so pay attention to what they have to say. Their worries are meant to help you avoid problems and move toward the improvement you want. Many people praise Stoicism for being wise in real life and strong in the face of mental illness. However, it's important to take a balanced view of any philosophical or psychological structure. Focusing on what we can control, accepting what will happen, and finding inner peace are all things that Stoicism teaches. But there is a chance of taking it too far and becoming dependent on it, just like with any other belief or theory. Here are some risks that might come with becoming too dependent on Stoicism: emotional suppression, avoiding vulnerability, overemphasis on control, ignoring personal growth, and withdrawal from emotions. Number 5, you'll feel tired and overworked because Stoicism says that we should recognize the importance of self-discipline and limit ourselves so that we can do things in a balanced and long-lasting way. By giving only what we can and taking care of ourselves, we can keep from getting tired and burned out. Think of it this way: there are only so many hours in a day and only so many things that each person can do. Because you want to be a good friend, a good employee, a good partner, and so on, you'll soon find that you're only spending time helping others, while the things you need to do will either take a back seat or get pushed to the side. This may work for a while, but soon you'll start to feel overwhelmed and tired, which will make you do less for everyone, including yourself. This goes along with number 4 because you'll start to make people dependent on you in ways that will wear you out. This makes the feeling circle complete. The worst part is that you'll start to feel weak because you can't help, even though you're not required to help everyone all the time. A burnout occurs when we do more than we can handle, which can make us physically and mentally tired. It can also hurt our relationships with other people. Number 6, you become resentful and bitter because Stoic philosophy tells you to work on accepting and forgiving yourself. This stops bitterness and anger from building up and helps you stay calm and emotionally balanced, even when you face difficulties and disagreements. You might start to feel anger if you are taken advantage of or if you are always nice. You might feel frustrated or angry because you are giving so much and not getting enough in return. This is a normal reaction when your time, energy, and emotional resources are constantly being used, which leaves you with nothing for yourself. Imagine if you always help your friend at work with their tasks, but when you need help, they don't offer to help or even thank you for what you did for them. If you keep helping without saying anything, you might start to feel anger or resentment. This feeling will only get stronger over time. Imagine you're a parent who is always there for your kids, but they don't seem to understand or care about what you do for them. If they don't show any thanks and still ask for more, it can make you feel frustrated and resentful. Number 7. You are unable to focus on yourself because Stoicism teaches that self-reflection and looking inward are important parts of personal growth. By putting your own goals and ideals first, you can learn more about yourself and grow as a person. Your main focus will be on other people if you put them first. This means that you won't be able to give yourself the attention you need to grow and become a better person. It's important to keep in mind that you, too, have things that need your time and energy. Your emotional and physical health depends on your ability to focus on yourself. Too much attention to others can lead to stress, anxiety, and burnout. You can take care of yourself better if you know how to take care of yourself and put your own wants first. Putting other people before yourself all the time will take your mind off your own wants and goals. By turning your focus inward, you can figure out what you want and set goals that fit your values. This makes your life more meaningful and makes you feel more accomplished. Imagine you work in a busy office where your boss often asks you to help with extra work, which is hard for you to do because you already have your own responsibilities. Even though you have a lot on your plate, you often say yes because you want to help and be a good team player. As you take on more and more tasks, you might realize that your own projects and goals are being pushed aside. Number 8. You'll become a people pleaser because Stoicism says you should put inner virtue ahead of external validation. By focusing on your own values and goals, you can avoid becoming a people pleaser and develop a sense of worth that isn't dependent on other people's opinions. When you try to please everyone all the time, you start to care more about what they think than what you really want. This can lead to actions that aren't in line with your own values and make you less confident and self-assured. People pleasers often have trouble making decisions and have trouble standing up for themselves. They can also easily be manipulated and end up in bad relationships. For example, when it comes to relationships, being too kind can hurt your mental and physical health, especially if you become a people pleaser. Imagine that you are always there for a friend or partner, ready to help them and meet their wants. You often put their needs ahead of your own because you care about them and want to make sure they're happy. But if you keep doing this, you might realize that you don't have time or energy for your own goals and activities. Number 9. You'll be taken advantage of because Stoicism encourages you to be aware of and avoid exploitation. By setting clear limits and practicing self-discipline, you can keep your sense of self-worth and stop people from taking advantage of your kindness. If you're always kind and helpful, some people might take advantage of you. They might come to rely on your generosity and ask for more and more without giving anything back. This can put a lot of pressure on you and make you feel bad. People might take advantage of your kindness by making you work more than you should or putting you in unfair situations where you do a lot of work while others do very little. This can happen at work, in friendships, or even in families. For example, in a work setting, if you're always ready to help your coworkers with their tasks, they might start to rely on you and put off their own work because they know you'll pick up the slack. Over time, this can lead to an unfair share of the work, with you doing more than your fair share while others don't try as hard. This not only makes you more stressed, but it can also make your coworkers angry and resentful. In personal relationships, people might take advantage of your kindness by always asking for help or emotional support without giving the same level of support back. This can make you feel like you're giving more than you're getting, which can lead to anger and resentment. To avoid being taken advantage of, you need to set clear limits and say what you want and need clearly. Make sure you put yourself first and don't let other people take advantage of your generosity. Be aware of situations where you're doing more than your fair share of the work and be ready to talk about your concerns openly. By doing this, you can keep a sense of fairness and mutual respect in your relationships and avoid being taken advantage of because you're too nice.